Hey, this is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling with Platinum versus AEW Dark. This is from September 28th, and we're looking at 11 matches. So obviously a relatively full show, and I think a really good one, you know, with AEW Dark Elevation only having 3 matches and really promos that were geared towards promoting Dynamite and Rampage. It was up to kind of AEW Dark to sort of pick up the slack of what we're used to, which is a lot of the mid-range talent who don't necessarily get on Dynamite or Rampage all the time, and introducing us to some new faces, and both were done right away. Santana Garrett shows up with red hair, which actually I thought looked pretty good on her. But Diamante confronts her and challenges her to a match next week. So we're already setting up the following week's shows. Pretty awesome. We open with Thunder Rosa against Nikita Knight. So Thunder Rosa is getting all these matches and stacking up wins. It's a good match. Knight does a good job here. I would imagine she will be brought back. On matches like this, which are foregone conclusion matches, I love to call them, I do on a 3-check system. So 1 check for Thunder Rosa, going over in definitive fashion with the Peruvian necktie. 2nd one for her looking good in the process, and a 3rd one for Knight, doing a good job keeping up with Thunder Rosa here. Great stuff. Next, we've got Private Party, who is 32-33. That is their record. So obviously they're going to even up here against Carlie Bravo, who I adore. I think he's great. They've brought him in 14 occasions, and I imagine they'll bring him in 14 more. I'm a big fan of the Carlie Bravo, just to put that out there. And JDX. JDX, I think, does a really good job in this match. And does a good job sort of manhandling Private Party for the part where they really get to show off their stuff. But Carlie Bravo is there to make sure that he's there for all of the Private Party spots, and he is, and he gets pinned with the gin and juice, and Private Party picks up the pinfall. 3 check marks, and so far Carlie Bravo is our performer of the week. Let's see if that holds up. We get Kiera Hogan against Leila Grey. So this is cool. So the wins begin to happen for Kiera Hogan, who has 1 already. Leila Grey is 0-10, but as usual, gets better and better and better. Leila Grey is somebody who I think they would be wise to keep on the line here, because as she continues to improve, she obviously looks like new money, as does Kiera Hogan. They have a really good match. Obviously, they wanted to see what they could both do here with a competitive feeling match. And I did love the Polish hammer that Hogan kept throwing. I think it's kind of unique. It's very different. And then connects with a really good-looking roundhouse kick to get the win. 3 check marks. And, you know, between Carlie Bravo and Leila Grey, I am happy with this show already. 4th match. We get number 10 with a Dark Order ringside for him against Brandon Gore. Gore, obviously a little outmatched physically here, though he does get to have a knife-edge chop exchange. He gets a little offense in, but at the end, you know what's happening. Pop-up powerbomb, and then the full Nelson, and a referee stopping it. So number 10, who's had more matches than you think, 39-14 now. And a good job by Gore, though, who did get a disproportionately large amount of offense, so we'll call it 3 check marks. And then 5th match, Cesar Bononi and Adrian Jode. I believe I'm saying that right. First time for Adrian, and it's strange that they're teaming him up with Cesar Bononi, since Cesar is in the group. So is he possibly going to be a wingman? Who knows? But he's taken on Jake St. Patrick, who's been here a number of times, and Ryzen, who's been here a ton of times. It's a good competitive match. Again, Ryzen does such a good job. Jake St. Patrick does a good job. Cesar Bononi is getting slightly less awkward, though at times he still looks a little clunky in that ring, if I'm being honest. Bononi plants Horizon with the spinning Olympic slam and gets the win. Joe did more like high flying stuff, hits a spinning heel kick, a jumping knee strike, that kind of thing. Very much indicative of sort of the modern wrestler, especially in AEW. So they both get the win, 3 check marks. It looks like we might have an all 3 check mark night. Let's see. We get Lance Archer against Arjun Singh in one of the biggest mismatches of the night. 3 check marks, I'll just say that right off the jump. Lance Archer looking more and more confident, looking greater and greater still. Jake Roberts conspicuous by his absence. I know they re-signed him for 2 years, but hasn't been with Lance Archer, and I get that in light of what Lance Archer's been doing with Suzuki and Jon Moxley and all this kind of stuff, that Jake would actually kind of look out of place and kind of throw the thing off. But I am curious what's going on with Jake Roberts. Hope he's all right. Arjun Singh does a good job here, really makes the offense look good, gets up for everything for Lance Archer. 3 check marks, what can I say? Good deal. It was great to see Ricky Starks here in a match, and Darius Lockhart. Fantastic wrestler. Great to see him getting his start. I love that Hook is at ringside in lieu of Taz for all of this stuff. I just think it's a really great, unique thing. And Hook getting over, bruh. Ricky Starks, Darius Lockhart really gets to show off here and do some stuff, and it's really great. It might be the longest match we had on Dark overall. And then Starks with that spear to pick up the victory, which I think is good. The Rochambeau is one of those things that Ricky Starks would be limited in using, but the spear, hell, anybody can get hit with a spear, right? Our next match, our 8th match, is 3 check marks, by the way. The Dark Order, in this case, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson with Colt Cabana at ringside against Adrian Alanis and Liam Gray. Liam Gray and Adrian Alanis have showed up quite a few times, just under 10 times each, and they've teamed up at least a time or two as well. And you can see it. You want tag teams that know what they're doing in defeat when you're with the Dark Order, because there's a lot of spots you got to remember and a lot of kind of interesting bumps you have to take near the end and chaining things together. And no exception here is the PK and pile driver combination finally finishes them off. 3 check marks. It's going really well. Next, the matchup I gotta say, the most interested in when I heard about it, Reka Tahaka, who's now made a ton of appearances for AEW, against Julia Hart. They're giving more and more wins to as she gets better and better in the ring and more confident, and just everything about Julia Hart, I'm a fan ever since I saw her on that Nightmare Factory show, honestly. So they have a very competitive match. And then Hart connects with a splitting bulldog, which I think is kind of a cool, different move. And I think it's better than the one where she just hits him with the split leg drop. I think the splitting bulldog really works. I think it looks good. This is probably my favorite match on the entire card. 3 check marks. I would not call it competitive, though. I don't think we have any matches that I would count as competitive on this show. Just to let you know. Bear Country against Brick Aldridge and Jameson Ryan. I believe this is Jameson Ryan's first appearance, and he does a pretty good job here. Really, when you're wrestling Bear Country, it's about taking their spots, and that's about it. And that's exactly what they do. They make them look good. Running Cannonball Strike, and they get the win. So 3 check marks. It looks like we're going to have a 3 check mark night. I am wrong. The 11th match and final match is a competitive match. We got Dante Martin and Matt Sydal, which I find to be an interesting team. We have not seen Mike for a while, so perhaps he is not there. But I think putting Dante Martin with Matt Sydal is good in a lot of ways. I think it's really cool. Against the Factory with Nick Komoroto at ringside. So who are we going to get? We're going to get QT Marshall and Aaron Solo. That's the incarnation of the Factory that we're getting. Very competitive match. On the competitive matches, I grade on a slightly different scale. By the way, Dante Martin plants solo with the Quebrada to pick up the victory and looks good. And Matt Sydal, I will say this again, I think he's the best guy doing these kind of matches. And now I think he's a perfect guy to team up with Dante Martin to help him out and take him to the next level and, possibly get him a match on Dynamite or two as a team. I think it's wonderful. I think it's one of those things that makes AEW so exciting, is they're able to kind of move things around and try different things, and it's really, really cool. However, the Factory is definitely on a losing skid and is definitely the least successful faction as far as wins and losses go. That's nothing to say that people aren't being developed and stuff. I'm just talking in terms of like importance on the card and perception from the fans. But they do the job here. Now, did both sides look good here? Yes, so that's a check mark. Did one team get put over definitively? I would say so. And then does something feel advanced for the future? I would say yes, because we've clearly established this team of Matt Sydal and Dante Martin as a thing.